We are breaking the silence, and so are you, aren't you? Here we are at the premiere show, and my glasses are glaring. You have to angle them like that. X-Files, yes, Mary says we're watching X-Files again. It was her idea. And it's interesting to note, because it's been so long since I've watched it, that at the very beginning of the very first episode, which I think was kind of the pilot episode, but not really, because I remember what happened. I was involved with that show. I bet you didn't know that. The first one said that it was based on actual events or things that happened. It's right at the beginning, which really kind of caught my eye. And of course, over the years, I mean, the next episode, they had their usual introduction that never changed all through it. And that was never brought up again. Now, we go back a little ways. I was used to the studios calling me and asking me to do work for them because I did a lot of creature works and monsters and played aliens and gorillas and things in movies. So I got called all the time. I had my own studio, I had people working for me, and we made things for film. So I get this call from someone named Paul Rabwin. And a very nice gentleman. And he said, we're doing a new show, and Chris Carter would like you to come down and meet with us about, possibly doing the work on the show. We're going to need aliens and things like that. And I said, oh, okay. So I went down to 20th Century Fox and I went into one of the bungalows, and I met Paul, and we talked for a bit, and then it was time for me to meet Chris. So I went in, and of course I didn't know who Chris Carter was at that time. I don't know what anybody did. I mean, of course, if you don't know, he's the creator of X-Files and wrote and directed a lot of the episodes. And I went into his office, and he's sitting there and very pleasant. And I tried to introduce myself, and he says, just like Gene Roddenberry did to me one time, he said, sit down, Steve. I know who you are. I said, okay. So I sat down, and he sort of reached down like this, and he pulled up two gray alien busts. In fact, I can show you the ones that he had. I think they're in here. If not, they're easy to find. And he had bought my bus. Now, of course, there was no real internet back in 93. This was actually a little before that. And the way he found my work was in UFO magazine, because I had ads in there, and in the ads were ads for my Dreamland Effects, is what my little company was called back then. And that's where he got them from. And he put them out on this table, and I was just sort of flabbergasted because he had bought them from me. I didn't even know it was him that did it. And we talked for a while. He gave me a script, which I still have, called Little Green Men. And that was the pilot episode originally. And this was the bust that he had. So he had two of them. So he really liked them. Imagine that. So, I started getting to work on X-Files, looking to the script and stuff. And then I got a call one day, and then it turned out they were going to go to Canada to shoot. And okay, fine. And then they called me again later and said they have a law up there. If the United States, you're coming to Canada, you're going to shoot up there, that's great, that's fine, we love your money. But if you bring anybody to Canada that can do the work of somebody already up here, that can do the same work, then you can't bring them. And there was a makeup effects guy up there who could do what I did. So that was it for me. I was done out. Although Paul Rabwin stayed in touch with me, and from time to time they would get some artwork from me, and they would have my artwork in the background. And if you watch X-Files, sometimes you'll see it, like in the Lone Gunman's trailer and in other places. The last episode of, I think, the 10th season, they had a bunch of my art up on the wall and stuff. So, but they always stayed in touch. They were extremely nice people, both Paul and Chris Carter. And then there's the whole thing about X-Files being so good and how people loved it. And especially people like us, because it just felt so accurate on so many levels. Well, that's because Chris Carter knows a heck of a lot about that subject matter and was very invested in it, just the way you and I are. So I think he and Spielberg are the only two people in Hollywood that really handled the subject matter correctly. Um, if you watched the 11th season, which was I think 2018 or 2017, right in there, maybe it was 2019 when they brought them back, much older but still totally with it. And the opening to the first episode, Mulder gives that speech. There were so many truths in that speech, so much true information woven into it that it literally just kind of knocked me off my seat. But then again, it doesn't surprise me knowing Chris Carter and how he feels about this subject. And that's why that show was so good. It just, sometimes it was unnerving. It was so close. So I thought I'd share that with you. It was really kind of one of my big bummers in my career that I didn't get to work on that show all the time and do the beings and everything else in it. But that's just the way it goes. That's, as they say, that's showbiz. I'm glad you're all here, and there's quite a few of you. And there's not much new to report on my end. I mean, it's been quiet, thankfully. I have been still having my troubles with I guess I don't know, is it post-traumatic stress syndrome? It's certainly a stress syndrome, and it's what's weird about it is that there's really nothing particular that sets me off. It just does. I mean, I get my heart's racing, and I feel just not well. And last night we were watching X-Files, and I think that triggered it. And after X-Files, Mary and I went and did a guided meditation on our mats, and 2 hours we woke up later on the mats. My heart was completely calmed down. I was completely relaxed, and I had a good night's sleep. So, but I wonder, and I'll ask you guys a question. You're always asking me questions. Do you get panic attacks? I never used to get them until recently. And panic attacks, stress syndrome, any of those things. I mean, it would seem likely that you would, considering the nature of these experiences. Yeah, and how about that? How about that, skeptics? I mean, people get that level of panic attack and stress syndrome based on something that they imagined. I think it's unlikely. Oh, hi, Raven. And oh, hi, Ann, Los Pianos, Jill, Rachel, and Chris.
Mark's in there too.
Yeah, Mark's wears in here too. Oh, don't forget, if you hear this go off, some people get annoyed. It's just because someone gave us some support by giving us a super sticker or something like that on YouTube. There was a question up here, something about your script of your regression. What was say again, Chris? Did you ask me something about that and I just missed it? Aurora, you say anxiety, and Raven Dana, you should all know she's been on the show and she's had her fair share of experiences over the years. In fact, she had one at Whitley Strieber's cabin, but also she goes by Stress Wizard, and she's someone who deals with people who have stress. I probably should have called her today, but because it's been bad the last 4 days. It was something about no, just thought because you read your regression script. Oh, you're thinking that, yeah, well, that's what Mary thinks, that having to spend an entire week going in front of camera and then editing day after day after day, and recreating my experience under uh, under hypnosis. Well, the thing is, it wasn't. I didn't remember it under hypnosis. I remembered it without hypnosis. I did have hypnosis, and that's how the transcript got made. But reading that, I didn't feel like I was getting stressed out from it. That's the weird thing about it. But like the minute I was done with the show, and like a day later, it just all of a sudden. I think it's been accumulative too, because oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Um, I think it's accumulative. It started with finding out I had bladder cancer and going through 2 surgeries. Then Rosie died, which was a huge blow. I mean, I just it's a huge blow. Um, and then our house got flooded. Um, and there's lots of other stuff in there too. But those things uh, alone, I think basically, I kind of kept an even strain and didn't really give into them and release enough. And I kind of had a meltdown. I think it was last Monday night. I just went out in the back room by myself and just cried my eyes out for quite a while. And I hadn't had a good cry in a long time. And it was the next day that I had this stress panic attack. So I think it's all related. The stress wizard would know. Oh, thank you, Jill. Thank you so much, Jill. Anyway, Raven would probably know best that what I just talked about, all this stuff was related. I do feel better, but I still feel tight. And I had another one this morning, but the minute I started putting together our new backyard furniture that Mary just got, because all that had to be replaced after the flood too. And I was working on that, and then I worked and worked on a slot car that I'm building, and it's a replica of AJ Foyt's car that won the race in '61. My dad and I loved that car, and we built one together back then. And so it's a nice way to kind of have those memories of my dad. And I was working on it, and I just didn't even think about the stress or feel anything, except I was having a good time and I was smiling. And the minute I stop, if I even start to think about anything, it starts to creep back. So Catkins used to get terrible waves of fear and terror. Yeah. Once a panic attack, imagining explosion. Huh. She dated William Shatner. I worked with Bill, and he was perfectly nice to me. Raven, yes. Anxiety usually shows up. I'm gonna put these. This is moving fast, so yes, it shows up after events that get stirred up. So you're calm and quiet, and energy rise to the surface. So that's what I thought, Raven. Thank you.
I have to get rid of somebody.
Yeah. No, I don't know about the dark forces. Believe me, I considered that maybe, maybe you there was some, spooky mind control stuff going on, and somebody was trying to make me feel sick, and we know they can do that, and they know, they can do it remotely, and they don't even have to sit outside your house anymore. But I don't know. I can't buy into that. I have no data or anything to suggest that that's what's going on. I certainly hope it's not, because then that means somebody's trying to get me to quit what I'm doing right now, and Mary too. And so why isn't Mary feeling it? So I would rule that out. What scale slot cars? Mostly 1/32 scale, and also I build from scratch 124 scale. But all the 124 scale tracks are over an hour and a half away from my house, so I haven't been going there much. I plan to again when I start feeling better. Raven says, here, I'll put it up there and you can see what she says. I keep forgetting I can do this. I was watching AJ the other night, and the comments are going up on across the screen, and I was like, "How is he doing that?" And it turns out you just show it right here. And when you don't, it will pass. When you don't fight it, wow, let it happen. Yeah, I'm quite a fighter. I didn't know that. Thank you, Raven. Havana syndrome. No, I don't think so. I mean, if that was going on, then they'd be targeting Mary too, and I don't think that that's going on. So I don't know why they do that, because we're harmless. We're not doing anything. We're getting together and we're talking about this stuff and helping each other, and um, we're not. We are telling secrets that are kept in high regard by the shadow government. That's for sure. They really don't like the fact that we know the things that other people have to have above top secret clearances for, and we know them because we're in direct contact with the visitors and they aren't, and so they don't really like that. It really disturbs them. So, but they can just go ahead and let it disturb them. Anne was saying to Raven, and this topic really has a lot to do with this, and I think we need to talk about this more. Yeah, it does go on nonstop for days. This is my fourth day or fifth day now, and I feel fine right now because I'm with you and I'm talking to you. It's like, I don't know how many of you know of Mario Woods in his case, but we've recently become friends, and he called me up the other night and I was bad. And once I started talking to him, we talked for over an hour. It all started to go away, and I just felt so much better. And I so much appreciated he called up, because, go look him up on YouTube. There's an interview with him, and it's just really something. And I'm sure will be in here at some point. Huh. Well, we do that. And I tell you, the meditation really helped, Raven. A lot of people are on the fence about, no more helicopters. There are a lot of people on the fence about meditation and Buddhism, but I'm telling you, it works. I mean, it was Mary's idea. She said, "Let's stop watching TV. Let's get off the couch. Let's go in the meditation room and meditate." And I said, "Okay," because I never argue with Mary. Mary always knows best. I go with it, and sure enough, it saved the evening. And for all I know, we were both out cold for 2 hours. I couldn't believe it was that long. It didn't seem like it. Maybe something happened, and maybe that helped too. I don't know. You gotta laugh. Huh. That's another interesting. Now, keep in mind, Raven is someone who actually is a professional who helps people with stress. She goes by Stress Wizard. And so she knows what she's talking about. Huh. Yes, we are the descendants. We certainly have their genetic memory in all of us. It's passed on down and down and down and down and down. Kundalini yoga? No, we haven't. We do? Okay. Isn't this fun? I can put your comments up. You try Kundalini. Yes. Thank you, First Coast Crypto. I just got asked to be on a coast to coast radio program. I'm going to be on in July 12th. It's called Dream Radio, I think it is, with Gary Anderson. I never heard of him before, and I checked them out. I couldn't believe the amount of listeners they have. And it's a talk show, and I'll be on for an hour. So what made me think of that is First Coast Crypto is because it's coast to coast and there was coast. So hopefully that will bring an awareness. There's a lot of people out there we're not reaching. And when I say we, I mean you too, um, that haven't found breaking the silence. But they will, and they are, and I see new people coming in all the time. But I'm going to be on that show, and I think there's something else coming up, so it all helps. So Art Bell's old program, love it, huh? Well, yeah, evidently Gary Anderson and Art were close friends, and I had never heard of the program before, but I felt kind of dumb when I looked it up, and saw what a big deal it was. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw that Whitley had him on. So here comes a rather large helicopter. I'm sure it's just we're close to the coast, so it could be Coast Guard or something like that. If it starts shaking the building apart, then it doesn't leave. I'll know. He's a ways away. Um, yes, Art Bell. Love this stuff and still do. Well, of course, we all loved Art. I mean, God, uh, he was someone that I think on a lot of levels comforted us all. It was great when the music would start and he'd come on, and it was great. We had that. We had X Files, and it was quite an era. It really was. And Art got mad at me because I forget why, but I don't think my late wife Jilly did not want me going on his show. And so when he got asked to be on the show, I turned him down. He got ticked off at me. So Whitley did too a bit. And but then much later on, Jimmy Church had me on Coast to Coast, and that was an interesting night. Hmm. I'm looking at comments. So many of you seem to have had brushes with the. I mean, it just stands to reason with something as traumatic as these experiences are that you would have anxiety issues, and I just don't understand. I mean, maybe I did back in the '90s because there was so much going on. There was a lot of stress, but somehow I was able to let it roll off. My late wife was not, and maybe it just finally caught up with me. No, I didn't work on the original BTV show. My friend Rick Stratton uh, did a lot of that makeup with Werner Kepler, and Werner and Rick and I were close. We still know each other, and he did that, and he also did Alien Nation, and that was his big deal because Rick headed that up. But I didn't work on either one of those. And if I didn't work on them, it was because I had my own shows going on. Rick and I started working together as early as when I was working for Don Post Studios, and that's how I met him. Don Post used to make Famous Monsters of Hollywood masks back in the 60s and up into the 80s or so. And it was one of the first jobs I had. I worked there uh, and met a lot of really neat people there. Okay. Let's see. Jill had something going on here. Um, okay, Jill. I know that one. I know waking up and the bedding's off and it just isn't right. No panic attacks. Panic attacks. Sure, on account of how I was treated and still treated, talking about Catholic, meaning they no longer associate or speak with me. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, but it's so true. And in fact, um, wow. Sector 31. Wow. Well, I mean, how, have we come to a conclusion? I mean, I haven't. I still don't know what the hell is going on. Just that it is, uh, and that's the thing. We may never figure out. We will probably, but we may never figure out what's going on, and um, but we know how it affects our lives, and it's rough, and that's why, I did. But something is there. My film. I know many of you here saw the film. Um, and I really didn't go much into how it affected my life, and I did a little bit. I've done a lot more with the episodes, but I really feel that I was going to do this film called Double Slit Experiment. Um, and I put it off because I met Jocelyn Wright, who is an amazing actress, and she has that. She has the it, as Gary Lockwood shared with me, and she's when I first saw her sizzle reel, I thought Jill was showing it to Mary, and I looked over his shoulder and I thought it was Kathy Bates. And it was this really dramatic scene with her sitting on a couch looking at this guy. She's got all taped up with a sponge in his mouth and telling him, talking to him about how she'd love to poison him and how his eyes would pop out like a frog that was stepped on and all this stuff. And it was wow. And I realized it wasn't Kathy Bates, but she was so good. And then it just hit me all at once like a lightning bolt. If if this actress would do one of our films, I could do a film about how this experience affects our lives. I mean, we just heard about how siblings won't talk to you anymore, friends leave you, your boss finds out because they saw you on a TV show like with me, and then fires you. It's terrible, and the public doesn't know much about that, and it's cruel, and that you can come forward about anything. You can come out of the closet about just about anything. But if you come out of the closet about this, then they stone you to death. That's exactly the words I used in my movie. But something is there when Mark says that, in the support group. So um, yeah, so that's the next film. And I'm literally writing that script around her abilities because she's so powerful. I know she'll bring it to the screen and bring it to people who may be on the fence about this stuff and never thought about how nasty it is for people to be so judgmental and discount people who are telling you honestly something they experienced. Can't they see it in their eyes? I know I can. I can just you just know when someone's telling the truth. I mean, if you really open your heart and you pay attention to them, you can see it. And then you have this thing that Jane Fonda calls a bullshit meter, which we also all have. I just love that bullshit meter. And where, I mean, within literally seconds, you just get this gut feeling this person is not on the level. And thus the bullshit meter. So never forget that one. That's a great term. um, and I'm sorry, Ann. I know about staying up. I've done that myself in the past. Yeah, it's weird, Jill. It's 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 like they sense something in you, that and you may not even have to open your mouth, and they'll just sense something about you that makes them recoil or not want to be around you. And you haven't even said anything about I saw a ghost or an alien or anything like that. So they are sensing something, and that's going to be in the script too. So do I. I remember the mobile above my crib. Interesting that you would say that, because one of my paintings has a mobile above the crib, and I seem to recall one on my crib too that had planets and stars. So it was a solar system mobile. You still remember dreams from 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 3 or 4, huh? That's highly suggestive they weren't dreams, because so do I, George. Believe me, I know that one. There's just, yeah. There's the stuff I remember as a dream, but like with transcript 551, um, I woke up in the night after it was all over. It must have been 3:30, 4 in the morning, and I remembered everything as a real thing, not as a dream. But people try to tell me you just had a bad dream. Well, I had some bad dreams last night, and they were just weird and bizarre, and none of it made sense. I mean, it was almost, dreams are kind of like AI. People's eyeballs go weird, and they have 10 fingers, and they blubber and blend in and out and do all this weird stuff. And that's what I had last night. I had the giant people eating little children, and just things that just made, giant alligators eating giant alligators, and just crazy stuff. But when you remember point A to point B all the way to Z, this happened, that happened, this was said, that was done to me, and it's all chronological, and it all is in order. It is all linear and vividly real. I have a really hard time accepting that that's a dream. That's an interesting one there, Aurora. Hey, Astral Guide. Thanks for coming. Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us, Aurora. Yeah. Yeah. Cat Master Trash. Yes. That's how I feel. Um, and we should all remember too that uh, that when you have repressed experiences, they end up in your subconscious, and what comes out of your subconscious comes into your dreams quite often. So it will be remembered as a linear event. So, hey, Judy, company has left. Good to be here now. Got to catch up. That's okay. And thank all of you for the kind things you had to say about the least watched of all the episodes, transcript 551. I giggle about it because, my mother's secret got well over 40,000 views in like less than 3 weeks, and that one just sat there. I think people were frightened by it, and I don't blame them. I certainly was. Brian saying you grew up on art. Wow. Okay. I grew up on George Reeves as Superman in Star Trek. Let's see. Oh, there's Raven. These are going by very quickly, so if I don't put them up quickly, then I think. Rewires. Ooh. I'm feeling okay. You guys are helping. Yeah. Well, there are dreams, and then there are memories that come out in our dreams. I think that's really how I look at it. But that's just me. So, oh, new comments. Yeah, this has really become quite a nice little support group, and I so much appreciate it because we're helping each other, and you're helping me. So it's great. We're having our support group tomorrow at our house, which I'm looking forward to. And it's just very interesting people from CIRO, the Close Encounters Research Organization, Yvonne Smith. We have a satellite of her organization that where we have support groups once a month, that people that are more local who find it difficult to drive very far to where Yvonne has hers can come and spend the afternoon and just talk this stuff out the way we are right now. Because I'm sure that you all feel a heck of a lot better after you do what we're doing now. I know I do. I love that, George. Thank you. Yes, I do too. You already have my backstory. All you have to do is go watch the last 10 episodes and the movie, but something is there. But it's really time to do another film, and to do it about how this experience affects people's lives. It's not going to be a very long film. It's going to be short, but it's going to bring it home, I hope. So I can't wait to start writing the script. I already have a lot of good ideas about it, and I can't wait to find the time. I have Taylor. I think I've talked about Taylor before, but Taylor discovered my website for my artwork and my career in the movie business, and realized we were local, and volunteered to help. And he's a young man in college, and he's in film school, and he knows his way around an edit bay, and was a huge help this week in getting the show you're about to watch put together, because there was a lot of footage to go through and cut down to keep the show under a certain length, and he was great at that. And he's coming back on Monday because we have 59 minutes with Joe Stillwell, and a lot of it needs to be removed because there's a lot of a detail that really isn't necessary to tell a story. And this always happens when we shoot interviews with people. So we just let them tell a story. So, and then we capture it all, and then we edit it so that it flows very smoothly and it's an easy watch. So at least that's what we try to do. Someone said I live near you guys. I saw it. Where'd it go? That went very, very fast. Did you catch that one, Mary?
Which one?
Somebody said they live nearby us, and I got us.
Brian does. He lives in Simi Valley.
No, it's a good place. Clark Gable. Huh. Wow. Small world. I did see it though. but the chat moves very quickly. Well, I think it was somebody wanting to come to our support group, and I missed it. So if you're still listening and
Okay.
can say again,
Well, tap it in. You can talk.
I'm just reading the chat, Mary. Wow, Marilyn. Yeah, there's I've heard this fairly often. You know, and that's when people really think you're crazy. Oh, come on. How can you remember that? Well, you can. Some people can. I don't discount it. And that's the problem. A lot of teachers out there teaching you things based on their reality and not having yours. And people tend to look up to them and say, "Well, she said, and she's got several degrees that you're just having bad dreams, or you're nuts, or you need help." This coming from people who, here we go again, don't even know our sun is a star. Yeah, I always love that. I know Brian lives in Simi. Okay. Well, yeah, Judy, they're asleep because they've been trained that way or programmed that way. Brian, that's the part of stress. What's next? Like the part of something is coming. Yeah, well, I don't think that what I've been feeling the past few days is because something's about to happen. And, uh, and I don't know if something happens, it's going to put me into stress and into stress because most of the experiences that I've experienced lately, although one was kind of scary, it was just me reacting. Um, the one I had about the message was actually quite pleasant on a lot of levels. I felt comfortable. Um, I got to see space and the Earth from space and another planet and just all these amazing things. So it didn't stress me out. Um, yes, very good astral guide. I don't either. No, you can't. That's very good, Raven. Yeah, they're scared, and we're supposed to have empathy um, and kindness towards them because they really are kind of innocent, really. It might, George. It might. Hmm. Justin. Hi, Justin. You're very welcome, Justin. Took me a minute to read that because they keep buzzing by. Catkins. Yeah, thank you. And thank you, George. Oh, Abbott. Yeah, I mean, it may be. I mean, I don't know how many of us have had our blood analyzed or our DNA, but thank you, Catkins. But it might be. I have unusually long arms. I do. It's weird. Um, who knows? I don't, but I wouldn't rule it out. They don't comprehend. No, they don't. Yes. Okay. I have watched Taken, and I have watched Dark Skies. In fact, my old friend Toby Hooper directed the very first episode, and I was supposed to work on that too, and I forget what happened. But yes, I did. It had some amazing stuff in it, especially the first episode that Toby directed, because he directed Life Force and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and um, Poltergeist and a lot of other amazing movies. And I worked on one of his films, and we became friends. So yeah, wow. But that went fast. It's we're a quarter two. We got a few more minutes here, uh, and then the warm up for the show will start. Signs, yes. Have you all seen Nope? Yeah, I saw Signs. But have you seen Nope? If you haven't seen Nope, you need to see Nope. Nope. And as Mary likes to say, sorry about the monkey. No one's seen it, huh? Again, I'm like, oh, oh, good. Yeah. I'm not gonna don't say anything about it. We don't give away anything about that movie because Mary and I were had, and it was just it was great filmmaking and really well done. Yeah, there we go. Raven saw it. What monkey? That's true. It wasn't a monkey. It was a chimpanzee, right, George? Yeah. It was brilliant. It was a great concept. I thought so. Just we're getting more comments. Monkeys? No, not the monkeys. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what they said, or somebody said, but it was it was a chimpanzee, which makes it a primate. And monkeys aren't primates. We should all know that. Yeah, I've heard this that Steven's doing in the film. I'd be really curious about it, and who knows? Maybe in this movie he will come a little more clean about his personal involvement in all this. Oh, look, it's Sting. Anyway, somebody sent me that. I love it. I love the Adams Family, don't you? Premise of Nope. Yeah, I don't know what the film's going to be about. I have no information on it, and I don't think any of us do. I also know that Francis Ford Coppola, who I first worked for, and after I got out of high school and became friends with, really nice man, just put out a new movie too, and really glad to see Francis is still making films. I haven't seen Nope. Well, go check it out. That makes it more interesting. Okay. No, go check it out. And the other movie to check out before I sign off here, um, no matter what you think of Adam Sandler and Spiders, I cannot recommend highly enough the movie The Spaceman. This is something Hollywood wouldn't do. I'm guessing Adam really wanted to because he wanted to do a real movie, and this is a real movie. It's real art and film, and the message is absolutely beautiful. And you guys, you need to watch it. It's a great film. It'll really. It was emotional. It was moving. And Adam, you've never seen Adam Sandler play a role like this. You almost didn't recognize him. It was incredible. So please watch that film. So I can relate to growing up like Adam's family. Yes, so can I. And the Munsters. Is the Spaceman on Netflix? I think it is, Mary, isn't it? I don't know. Do a search. So anyway, we'll see you guys all at the premiere, and I'm going to take the rest of the weekend off before I start on the second part of Joe Stillwell's journey, which is the second part is going to be a hard one to do, and it's really involved, and you're going to see what he saw, the being he saw, and it's just amazing. It's incredible. So I'll be doing that next week. So I love you guys a whole bunch. I really do. All of you. Too many names to list, but you're our family. Know that. And we'll see you soon.